In the wide-open Alberta skies above the ranch, a quiet storm is gathering. The return of a familiar face. A missing Icelandic stallion whose flight path leads into danger. Secrets buried beneath the hay bales. Tonight, at the heart of the family ranch, nothing is quite as it seems. Welcome to Season 18, Episode 2, where new beginnings clash with old wounds, and the only way forward might be to look back. Stick around, because this chapter will test loyalties, challenge trust, and show you that sometimes the highest view comes from the most unexpected place. The morning light on the ranch comes softly, spreading across paddocks and pastures like a slow promise of something to come. The wind carries the faint smell of hay and damp earth, and in the distance the low rumble of an engine signals someone making their way down the gravel driveway. For a moment everything seems still, the horses are grazing quietly, their breath drifting in the crisp air, and the ranch house stands peaceful as if waiting. Then the engine stops and the gates swing open. When she steps out of the truck, Amy can't hide the little flicker of something in her chest, a hope, a question, maybe both. She watches as Caleb walks up the porch, dust from the road clinging to his boots and the wide andrine sky behind him. His return feels like the turning of a page, one she didn't know she needed until she saw him there. Inside, the house is warm with the scent of coffee and wood smoke, but a quiet tension underlines the familiar. Their look meets briefly. Amy tries to smile. Caleb nods, takes off his hat, and sets it down. The past isn't forgotten. It waits in the corners of the room, in the memories they both carry, laughter around campfires, horse blankets pulled over sweaty backs, storms that rolled in faster than a horse could run. Now, standing there across the threshold, they're both aware that something is shifting. Amy leads him into the kitchen, asks about the flight job up north, and Caleb tells her how the pilot's license feels like taking off for real for the first time. His eyes trace the beams of sunlight crossing the wooden floor, and for a moment their talk lingers in the gap between what was and what could be. But the calm doesn't last long. Outside, a mare shifts uneasily, ears flicking. A new client has brought an Icelandic horse named Loki, one whose stride holds a quiet power, but also a restlessness that doesn't belong in the field. Amy meets the client at the barn, the horse's coat shimmering and stiff as if his muscles are tuned for a race he isn't allowed to start. The client's voice is tight. "He won't come in from the field," she says. "He won't let me halter him." Amy looks at the horse, watching the tension coiled like spring beneath skin and mane. She steps closer, talks softly, tries to read what the horse is saying. Loki's eyes flick through them both. Something has happened. Something unseen. Later, as Amy and Caleb walk the fence line in fading light, she says that sometimes the horses carry stories we don't ask for. Caleb listens, looking out over the valley, the past folding behind him and the horizon stretching ahead. He tells her he wants to help, not because he's trying to fix something, but because he wants to understand something. And together they decide to dig deeper into Loki's history. What they uncover unsettles them. Loki is linked with two other Icelandic horses that have gone missing. Stolen. The words hang in the air like a winter storm ready to break. Amy's stomach tightens. Caleb catches the look. The ranch, their rhythms, everything familiar, it's intersecting with something bigger. Meanwhile, the ranch business beckons from another direction. Lou, standing ankle-deep in dust and equipment by the firebreak she's been building with Nathan's help, watches the horizon with a taut jaw. The fire risk has grown with the dry winds, and every decision feels heavier now. Lou is used to being tested, but this challenge presses in on her in new ways. Nathan works beside her, his silence filling the space between shovel and earth. She wonders if his quiet is strength or distance. He gives instructions, counts the stakes, shifts the hose. When one of the hoses kinks, Lou tackles it without hesitation. She's determined, but there's weariness in her shoulders, the kind that shows the cost of responsibility. In the evening, the ranch house comes alive with the sound of dinner plates, laughter forced at times, and the uneasy undercurrent of change. Amy sits with Caleb and mentions the missing horses, the theft, the plan to find them. She glances at Lou, across the table, and catches her expression, pride mixed with worry. Lou smiles, says something casual about the firebreak, that she's got it under control, but Amy sees the tightness in her eyes. The family feels like a team used to playing together, but now the field is shifting, the game is different. Old roles, old habits, they're colliding with new truths and new paths. Later that night, Amy stands in the barn, alone with Loki. The stall is quiet except for his soft breathing and the faint creak of the roof. Amy offers him a carrot. The horse steps forward slowly, cautious. She reaches out, touches his muzzle. "We're going to find the others," she whispers. He doesn't answer with words, but his body relaxes a fraction. Amy holds a breath, knowing this is more than just therapy for a horse. It's something that touches what she believes in: trust, connection, healing. The missing horse's story becomes theirs too. In the dark, the world of the ranch feels larger. The stars outside the barn window shine bright, pinned against the sky like reminders of how small we can be, and how big the work of finding the truth feels. Everything is changing at once: the groundwork of the ranch business, the emotional currents between Amy and Caleb, the mystery of Loki, the shifting relationships. The ranch that once promised stability now demands risk. Amy worries about opening her heart again, about trusting and letting go. Caleb tolerates the ache of returning, of fitting in again. Lou fights the fires of the land and the fires within while trying to steer the business through rough terrain. And the missing horses, their theft throws a spotlight on something deeper: greed, innocence lost, the betrayal of the bond between human and animal. The ranch stands at a crossroads. As the night deepens, Amy steps out onto the porch, drawn by the cool air. She watches the lights of the outbuildings, the silhouette of the mountains in the distance, the dark expanse of the fields. She breathes in the quiet, and lets something settle inside her, a resolve. When she turns to go back inside, she finds Caleb leaning on the railing, looking at the same view. They exchange a glance. No words. But she understands. He's here, they're here. And whatever comes next, they'll face it together. A new beginning of sorts, born out of conflict, born out of the stolen, the missing, the uncertain. The ranch may feel familiar, but the ground beneath their feet is changing. And it's up to them to hold on while stepping into what's next. The sun rises again over the ranch, but this time the morning feels different. The air carries a quiet tension, like nature itself knows something is shifting. Horses move slowly inside their paddocks, as if they, too, sense a new weight in the wind. Amy walks across the yard with thoughtful steps, not hurried but not calm either. Loki watches her from the field, ears forward, body alert. He is not just another horse to train. He is a clue, a voice from the wild part of the world where danger hides behind calm fields and friendly faces. Amy breathes deeply as she approaches him, knowing today must bring answers. She reaches toward him, letting him smell her hand. He lowers his head just a little, a sign of growing trust, and she feels hope rise inside her. Inside the house, Lou paces with a notebook in her hand, phone tucked between her ear and shoulder. Her voice is firm but tired. She speaks about the firebreak project, about deadlines and permits, about safety and responsibility. She glances through the kitchen window toward the fields, seeing Amy and Loki, and a sigh escapes her lips. She loves this ranch, this land, this family, but sometimes the weight of being the one who must protect it all feels like carrying a mountain on her back. When she ends the call, she rubs her forehead, trying to ease the headache building. Nathan walks in, wiping dust from his hands, asking if she needs help. Lou looks at him, trying to read his intentions. She wants support, not someone to take over, but she cannot do everything alone. She gives a small nod and tells him they will check the south line after breakfast. He smiles gently, offering quiet strength without trying to control her. She appreciates that, more than she says. Meanwhile, Caleb stands near the barn, leaning against a post, staring out across the land like a man deciding which road to take next. The ranch stirs old feelings, belonging, memories, unfinished business. Returning here wasn't just a visit. It is a test. A chance to prove who he is now. He runs a hand across his jaw, thinking about Amy, about the years between them, about the moment yesterday when silence carried more meaning than words ever could. Amy walks toward him, brushing dirt off her jeans. She gives him a quiet look that says she needs his help. He doesn't hesitate. She explains more about Loki, the missing horses, the strange behavior that feels tied to something bigger. Caleb listens carefully, and when she says she wants to follow the lead and find the stolen horses, he simply replies, "Then we're doing it." His voice is steady, full of a loyalty that never really left. Amy feels a familiar warmth, a feeling she had tried to hide, but it lives just beneath the surface like river water under ice. They start their search not with a map or a computer but by watching the land and trusting the instincts they built over years of working with horses. Loki paces, restless, when a truck passes in the distance. He snorts and turns sharply toward the west, muscles trembling. Amy and Caleb follow his gaze. There is nothing obvious there, just rolling fields and a dirt road stretching beyond sight, but horses feel what humans often miss. Amy makes a note. The west side might be a direction worth checking. Before they leave, she strokes Loki's neck and promises again, softly, that she will not stop until the others are found. Loki's eyes soften, and in that moment, trust grows like a seed breaking through soil. As the day warms, Lou and Nathan move along the firebreak line. They check equipment, tighten ropes, and place markers. Lou works with fierce focus, determined to prove she can protect the ranch and handle every challenge. Nathan notices when her hands tremble slightly from exhaustion. He suggests a break, gently but firmly. Lou frowns, pride tugging at her, yet the strain in her muscles reminds her that pushing too hard can break what she's trying to build. Reluctantly, she sits on a fallen log. Nathan hands her a water bottle and sits beside her without speaking. The silence is comfortable. For a moment, nature surrounds them, wind in the grass, birds in the trees, the soft hum of insects. Lou breathes deeply and admits she is scared, not of failing, but of failing her family. Nathan listens with steady calm. He tells her strength isn't just fighting through alone, sometimes it's letting someone stand beside you. Lou looks away, eyes glistening, because the truth in his words touches a place she guards tightly. She quietly whispers, "I know." And for the first time in days, she lets her shoulders rest. Back at the barn, Amy and Caleb prepare to follow Loki's lead. They saddle their horses, double-checking straps and gear. Caleb tells a small joke about how every time he thinks he's done with adventure, life throws him back in the saddle. Amy smiles, but her thoughts stay focused. This isn't just adventure, it's responsibility. They ride toward the western ridge, the ground soft beneath hoofbeats, the wind brushing against them like a whisper of warning. The world feels wide, yet something in the air feels crowded, like unseen eyes are watching. When they reach a fence line far from the house, they spot tracks, hoofprints mixed with tire marks. Amy's heart beats faster. This is not coincidence. Someone moved horses here recently.